Good morning. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. It's Nia. I'm calling or signing in live from the West Coast. And inshallah, today we're going to relaunch our Friday feature with a familiar face. Malikah A. Shabazz will be joining us, and she is an independent filmmaker and Black Muslim Girl Fly and one of our newest board members. So let me go ahead and bring welcome to our live. Malikah. Awesome. There you are. Assalamu alaikum. Can you all
Okay,
hear me?
I can hear you. You sound a little far away, but I can still hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Let me just double check my audio. Yes, I can hear you fine.
Okay, cool. All right. Good morning, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. While she's figuring out her audio, for the Muslims in the room, Juma Mubarak. How's everybody doing today on this beautiful January 5th, first Friday of 2024?
Right. Hello.
So, our Friday, Mom, how are you, bro?
To do. Back. I don't even know how long ago we started the Friday feature, but Malikah was one of our first Friday features, and so it's really great to have her back. Oh my goodness, my sister from another mister, as they say. So yeah, I really wanted to launch Friday feature again with a familiar face and actually reintroduce everyone to our brand new board. So Black Muslim Girl Fly is coming back with a vengeance, so to speak. We've been a little bit under the radar because there are so many things that we've been working on to launch this year. And that's what we're going to talk to Malikah about. So Bismillah, let's start. First, tell us who you are, for the people who don't know you, and where you grew up and what you do now.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. What up, though? My name is Malikah A. Shabazz. I born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, Motown. What up, though? I am a multi-hyphenate creative. So I am a content and event producer as well as a photographer. I'm also a filmmaker. And what was the other half of the question?
What you do? Oh, what you work?
So right now, I am full-time freelancing, alhamdulillah. Woo! But I do work with. I've been getting more into event production here with just the atmosphere here in Detroit. But I also have been doing some photography on the side. I do it more in the summer because I like to do live and event photography, so concerts and things of that nature. But yeah, just working. I have a really big client that's in Highland Park, which is a city within the city of Detroit. And so 2024 is here, and that's gearing back up. I'm revamping Balalian Experience, which was a brand that I started to amplify the image of Black Muslims in America and Black, specifically descendants of enslaved Africans in this country. And then I also started a new endeavor called the Creators Cave, which will be a actual brick and mortar location, which will serve as a space for creatives to work, network, and create. And so it will have a physical space that will have a cafe as well as a photography studio and edit bays. But for now, I'm just working on building that community. So inshallah, come March or April when it's warm, I'll start having events centered around that.
Yes, that sounds so dope. I mean, that's literally what Black Muslim Girl Fly is all about, right there. And every time we talk, Malikah, you inspire me. Like every no. It's like, okay, so just to give you a little bit of backstory about Black Muslim Girl Fly, I initially started the brand back in 2018 after like coming up against so many obstacles in the film and TV industry. As Malikah's a filmmaker, she knows for sure how that feels. And one very pivotal moment happened at Sundance when I was at Sundance and I attended a panel with Spike Lee speaking. And we all know as Black Muslim people that Spike was the spearhead behind the Malcolm X movie, which was so pivotal in just amplifying Black Muslim people in film and television. And so when I asked Spike on this panel at Sundance, what were his plans to continue including Black Muslim stories, he literally sidestepped the question. And it was just, to me, like a light bulb moment where I just realized, as Black Muslim people, we have to just build our own. And so that's where the idea of Black Muslim Girl Fly was born. And I just decided, why don't we just have our own film festivals? And Malikah was the first person I thought of to bring on board back then. And she's been my ride or die ever since. So it's like, yes, this is our mission. Yeah, and as storytellers, we definitely want to be in charge of our own narrative, because if we leave it up to other people, you know the saying, when the hunter tells the story, he's the hero, but if the lion told it, he's the villain. So we definitely want to be the lions in our own storytelling. And then Black Muslim Girl Fly, to me, was the most making sense thing to do. And so now here we are. And as a creative in the space, it's still a challenge, you know, because the powers that be are not Muslim people. And then if there are Muslim people who are in charge, just the pattern of them leaving out Black Muslim people is just so obvious. And so, like I said, we're here to do our own. And this past year, Black Muslim Girl Fly received grants so that we could develop certain programs, including our film festival, which inshallah in 2024 will be back up. Woo, woo. And we received our 501c3. So we are an official nonprofit recognized by the state and the federal government. So if you do donate to Black Muslim Girl Fly, your donation is tax deductible. And like I said, the Black Muslim Girl Fly board just formed, and we have some amazing Black Muslim women on the board, including Malikah. So how did you join the board, Malikah?
You asked me to.
Yes.
No, but that's really what it was. Yes. And it was just, it was no brainer. It was just like, let me figure out my schedule and get to work. That's as simple as it was.
Right. You know, I really appreciate that, because Black Muslim women are powerhouses and we are working tirelessly. As you can probably see in the landscape, there are so many things up against Black women, period. And so, like, the most recent thing, Claudine Gay's departure from Harvard. So, and the thing is, like, we're not surprised, unfortunately. We're disappointed, but we're not surprised. And like, right, we shouldn't have to be in that position of not being surprised, right?
Right.
So, like, behind that idea of building our own, what are you most excited about since you've joined the board for BMGFly this year?
Well, I'm excited for all the initiatives that you have. First of all, I'm excited that you got your 501c3, because let's go grant money.
Yes.
But the one thing that I'm probably still most excited about is the film festival. Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, all the other initiatives, educational initiatives, the journal, I'm excited about those things, but I think it's just being a filmmaker. I'm excited about the film festival and just seeing the content that's created for us, by us, because even though it does not get the notoriety that other Muslim content from other backgrounds may get, it's still out there, and there's still some amazing Black Muslim female filmmakers who are creating good content, be it movies, be it scripted, be it music, poetry, whatever, because I see Tesleen Jamila on here, so I like
that's right. But shout out to that sister. She's dope.
Yeah, she's amazing. And she just, I would run off to go get her latest book. It's over there in my bookcase.
Yeah.
But no, there's a lot of us out there that are creating quality content, and it doesn't get the platform that other content gets. And so being able to be in this space where, you know, we are we're the subject, and we're the one that gets the light shined on, that excites me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the film festival. I gotta get myself together. I will be shooting a short this summer. It won't be ready for the film festival, but nonetheless.
You don't know that?
I do know that, because there's editing.
I got you, your timeline. But you know
what? But let me say this, you never know, to just, anything can happen, miracles can happen. Yeah. So it could happen. I get a grant that makes editing flawless, because I can shoot it in probably 2-3 days, but there's special effects. There's a special effects component to it that may take some time. And, you know, you want to pay people. I'm not one of those people who was like, what you do for free. It would be nice to barter, but at the same time, I'm too far in my career and I'm too old to just expect people to work for free. Like, no, like just for fee-sabilillah. I don't work fee-sabilillah. I work fee-sabilillah check.
That's right.
DTE don't take love.
Right.
Xfinity doesn't take good vibrations. No, they want their money. So
I feel you. As a filmmaker myself, I feel you totally, because, you know, that's done because people put their heart and soul and work really hard on projects. So like, yeah, vis-a-vis a check, ma'am. So that being said, I really am excited because I know the story she's talking about. And like one of the initiatives that we've had at BMGFly has been our screenwriting fellowship. And we had a writer's group, and I had the privilege to get a sneak peek at the script that she was talking about. So let me tell you, when it gets popping, it's going to be awesome. And then, like, I want to also mention one of her films premiered at one of our festivals one year. You could tell us a little bit about that, because I'm going to send folks to the website so they can take a look at it. But tell us a little bit about that.
So yeah, my first short I had filmed right as I was graduating, after I graduated from graduate school, and I was actually a few months out of moving back home. But it's a short film called Consternation, and it is about a Muslim girl who learns she's pregnant out of wedlock.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's
right there.
That's the scariest thing out of all the problems we have. That's the one thing. And you know, a lot of people after I put it out were just like, well, what happens next? What happens next? And I was like, I don't know, because I haven't thought that far, because it was a short film. But it is something that I may think of incorporating into some other projects I have, because that is a discussion we have to have in terms of not necessarily girls and guys, because there's plenty of dudes out here with children outside of a marriage, but it's not as visible as it is for us as women, because we carry the children and we're primarily responsible for the children, especially in their younger ages. But that's not what needs to be talked about. What needs to be talked about is the reaction from the community, and how when a sister gets into that situation, their fear goes to what people are going to think versus, I need to go get an OBGYN because I'm having a baby right now. And so that's something that I would like to really look into, maybe in some other sort of project, about how our community pushes people away in moments of need. Like, we know you're not supposed to do it, but okay, it happened. So now what? Exactly. And then furthermore, what are you teaching young people outside of don't have sex? Okay, but why? There's a reason for everything in Islam. And if you're just telling kids, well, you just don't do it because of haram, you're going to go to hell. And then they get out in the world and they see all these people doing it and they're living okay. What does that say to them? Like, you have to give them the and I'm going off on a tangent, but I'll bring it back.
No,
you're on topic. You have to give them, and this is not only that, this is just in general, you have to give them the proper Islamic foundation. Where is it? You don't just say no to say no, but you explain why we don't do these things. So the reason for not having sex outside of marriage is not just, sex is only haram outside of marriage. Sex itself is not haram, but the way people promote it is like, you get married and now you're just supposed to turn into this big old vixen. It doesn't work that way.
No.
But if you establish the foundation of not promoting it as haram, but promoting it as something that is sacred and protected within the union of marriage, then if that person then goes out and decides to have sexual relations outside of marriage and something happens, they can't come back and say, well, you never told me about STDs, you never told me about this, you never told me, because we're so afraid of our children doing whatever that we shelter them, not realizing that they're going to be exposed to it anyway. It's important that you expose them to it in a way that see fits and that it's backed by the protection that Islam gives. And so that's something I would like to discuss later on, or to look at in some other avenue. We'll see. I just have to figure out where to put it, because I'm still figuring out the story for my first feature. I got the whole gist of it, but I have like a main point, but I just have to still figure out the rest of the story so I can write them. Yeah, show them your clean glass.
Hello. But see, like I was saying, this is on topic because this is how you teach, through storytelling, and the narrative that you own as an individual and as a community comes through communicating with each other. And this always goes back to the stories we tell ourselves. So if these children or teenagers or whomever don't get the proper story, they're going to go off and make their own without the guidance. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that's one of the biggest reasons why I started BMGFly, is because we feel disempowered in our own identities, and we don't have that needed support system often when it comes to building our own personal narrative. And and I'm speaking as a former educator, I'm speaking as someone who was a graduate student who studied psychology, and I'm not somebody who likes to toss around degrees or whatever, but I'm just speaking from a place where people can receive it with respect to the opinion. Do you get what I'm saying? Because it's like,
Absolutely.
you talk to people in the community and they're always, like you said, this is haram, don't do that. But if you don't guide with the narrative in mind, like I said, they're going to go off and build their own narrative that's full of holes, that's full of misguidance. And like that goes back to several of the initiatives we have, where you can craft your own story and empower yourself as a Black Muslim woman. And that's why I created the guided journal. And it's on sale now in time for Ramadan. And like the whole reason behind this organization is empowering ourselves, building up the confidence in who we are, instead of going off of a narrative that somebody else created that we're supposed to do. So basically, that's BMGFly. And that kind of leads me to my next question for you. What does it mean for you to have Black Muslim Girl Fly? Because we have the definition. I mean, it's on the back of my t-shirt.
Hey.
Those t-shirts are also on our website, where I don't know if you can see it, but yeah. So tell us, Malikah, what does it mean to have Black Muslim Girl Fly for you?
Oh wow, that's so interesting now, especially since I just turned 40.
Yes, happy birthday.
Thank you. And so, in commercial break, where can they find the journal? Because someone's asking.
Oh, that's
commercial
right.
break.
So you go to blackmuslimgirlfly.com and you'll find our t-shirts and our journal. And actually, these mugs used to be on sale as well. There's another one that says "Wake Up and Be Fly," but they'll be back on the website soon, inshallah. So go to blackmuslimgirlfly.com.
A mug, because I love a good mug.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, a billion over here. But what does Black Muslim Girl Fly mean to me? Oof, there's so many ways you can go with that. I think it means being authentic and comfortable in your authenticity, however that looks. We always hear all the time, Black people are not a monolith, and we're not. And Black Muslims are not a monolith. Black Muslim women are not a monolith, and we all express our deen and our spirituality through our souls and through our personalities. And so I think being Black Muslim Girl Fly is being able to identify who I am and let that come through my personality, through my writing, and through me, and making sure that I'm not hiding it. Because this was a conversation we had like years ago about showing up on social media more and posting more, because both of us were just like, But what I've realized is that, contrary to popular belief, there are a lot of generations of Black Muslims in this country. So everybody is not necessarily from the nation, but there's a large group of us who our parents were not born Muslim. And so technically we are first generation born Muslims in our family. And now our generation is at an age where we have children who are in their 20s. I have friends who are in college. I'm just like, Lord, I'm that auntie. I'm literally, like yesterday, I was sitting there like, I'm 40. What is going on? I've been blessed to live 40 years. What is happening?
Amen.
But what it is that now they have something that we didn't have. And that was a generation before them that knew what it is to be a young Black Muslim, or for sake of this conversation, a young Black Muslim girl in this country. Right. Now, granted, we don't have what they have, which is the monster known as social media, which is that's a whole nother thing, that's where things differ. But at the same time, I'm able to identify when I see like a young girl who grew up Muslim and now she's 20, she's out of the house and she doesn't work her kimar anymore. I understand that thought process because I understand how if you're grown, you've only known one thing your whole life and you've only been told not to look anything else and this is it, but you see everyone else living life, doing things differently. Your curiosity is gonna, you know, and so I understand when I see that, I understand them and I make sure that I still give them the space to know that, listen, over here, I still love you. It's not, we're not shunning nobody.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I also think it's important, and I was thinking about this earlier, not to deviate too much, that those of us who have parents who are not raised Muslim, it's important that we have a conversation about our childhood. Like I had one with my parents about, you know, and it was an actual adult conversation. So make sure you've grown and you're able to process things. But I was probably knocking on 30 and I was living in New York and I came home and I had a conversation with my parents and I said, listen, you have no idea what it is to be a Muslim youth in this country. You have no idea. You chose this for you and then chose it for me. I don't know anything else. So I've had to go and study other people's paths to the creator because that's works for them. And so being in that position of being able to communicate with both sides, but making sure that young Muslim girls, because now there's a younger generation coming after us, and making sure that they see that it is possible to be your authentic Black self and still be Muslim and still be comfortable and still be proud of it. And so to me, that's, I think, one of the things of being a Black Muslim girl is being authentically yourself and being comfortable with being authentically your Black Muslim girl self.
Man, I love that. Alhamdulillah. And I feel like, you know, as Black Muslim women, and, you know, she was saying, Malikah was saying that she's 40. I'm coming up on my 50th year, alhamdulillah. Like,
can't tell.
To me,
can't
it's
tell.
like,
listen,
wow.
Don't crack. Can't tell.
But, you know, I'm still that same 16-year-old I was, you know, coming up as the only Black Muslim girl in my high school. Yes. So it's like, and my kids are adults now. Like my daughter just turned 28. Yeah. I'm letting that sink in. Like, and then
where's my prune juice?
Hello.
Where's my prune juice?
And I feel like this is for her. And then I have nieces who are 7 and 10, and then I have another niece who's 13. So it's like, this is for them, you know, for them to understand that, yes, you are Black and you are Muslim and you are fly and your culture is just as important. And, you know, I grew up listening to music and poetry, and you know, like I was telling my brother the other day, me and my mom, who's the one who became Muslim, she became Muslim and raised me Muslim. And I was born Muslim, but she used to be a Catholic. And like, I have memories of us dancing to Rick James. Come on. Like, that's in my blood. Music, poetry, Nikki Giovanni, Intozaki Shange, all of that is in my blood. You know what I'm saying? So that's not something I'm going to shed so easily. And it's something that as Black Muslim women, we have to embrace and embody in a way that shows these young girls that it's okay. It's okay to be yourself.
Hey,
it's okay.
It's okay.
It's more than okay.
It's more than okay. And that's the thing, like, when it comes to social media and seeing how with the rise of Muslim influencers and how a lot of them are cosplaying Black now.
Yes, hello.
And how a lot of those influencers, a lot of them, their main demographic is Black Muslims. And it's just like, it just, and to be fair, there are Black Muslim girl influencers. So whether it's Yasmin Simone, Cecily Tahiri, Nadira Pierre, Iman Bilal, so we're out there. But
shout out Nadira P. That's it.
They still are not getting the coverage that some of these other girls get. And it just kind of breaks my heart to see these young, especially the younger Black girls who are just hitting like 13, 14, see these influencers cosplaying what they mama was doing, but yet they're still being told, oh no, that's haram, that's not blah, blah, blah. And so that's why I'm just like, okay, yeah, I really have to be very intentional, and I got to get out of my own way and create this content, because that when we were growing up, the TV went off. Like, it went off. Now, granted, I know it didn't go off like my parents did. Like, well, I'll take that back. I remember Channel 9, Canadian TV. In the 90s, they would still play the Canadian national anthem, and they were just static. However,
them color bars, I remember.
yeah. However, after a certain time growing up, we turned the TV off because nothing was on but infomercials, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now we live in a society where there's a 24-hour news cycle. They are constantly inundated with images, especially now with this algorithm that is feeding them images, you know, and it's not just Black Muslim girls, it's just young people, period. And just the image of their self-image. Like, I have to be mindful with my niece is 8, and so at one point my sister had to take YouTube off of her phone. The fact that she got a phone, she had a phone, I was like, okay. But having to, I'm on a, speak of the devil, I'm on a call right now, please go somewhere.
Go, auntie.
But you made me lose my train of thought. Oh no, what I was saying was that the constant bombardment of images and these filters are creating these unrealistic standards of themselves.
Right.
And that, coupled with, you know, reality TV and all the surgeries in the world, you have these young girls who are thinking, in order to be worthy, I have to look like something that is not even real.
Right.
Right. Exactly. And in order to be a Black Muslim, in order to be Muslim now, I have to, you know, copy what they're doing, when truthfully they copying us. They're copying us.
Yes.
And so it's just, for me, I'm just like, okay, I really have to be mindful, and not even just as content, but just as myself.
Right.
And just showing myself, because Lord knows I love to be at home. Listen.
Yep. Ma'am.
I love it. Listen, the music is perfect. The food is the fridge is always stocked with food I like. There's always every tea here I like. Like, this is great here. But I understand the importance of being seen.
Right. But that goes back to taking control of your own narrative, because that's what you have done. You have embraced your identity. You're comfortable in your skin. Hey, shout out to that song Cozy. Hello, because that's on my playlist. But it's like, what are we doing to these young people, and what are we allowing to be done? Actually, we need to interrupt that and then guide them to creating their own narrative, because listen, if we let them tell it to us, we be like the least attractive, the most unwanted, and you know that's a lie, because Black women are the blueprint. So let's just tell the truth. Anyways, one of the stories I'm going to close out, because one of the stories that I've created is like, a lot of people don't realize what the power of storytelling. And so that's number one reason why I got into filmmaking, because there are so many eyes on screens, and the books that we read are now being made into movies and TV shows. So that's why I moved to LA to get into film and TV. But I've been a writer my whole life. And one of the stories that I've written is called Sex, Love, and Holocaust. And you know what it's about? It's about being a Black Muslim woman in Baltimore during the time of 9/11 and what that is like. The drama, the community, you know, and these are the kinds of stories that these young women need to be able to read, because they don't know what it was like back then, growing up, being Muslim, dealing with Islamophobia, but also dealing with discrimination in your own community as a Muslim, and the drama behind, you know, being a young wife and the expectations of having children, and like literally making sure you get married before you have sex out of wedlock. Shout out to Consternation. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, these are the kinds of stories that need to be out there. And that's why I got into film and TV. And that's why Black Muslim Girl Fly exists. So yeah, keep your eyes out for that novel. It'll be coming out soon, inshallah. And hopefully become a TV show if you all are interested in that. But yeah, so I just thought I'd throw that in there as a filmmaker, and just bring it back to the conversation of being a filmmaker. Malika, what should everybody out there be looking for from you?
So yes, as I said, this summer, inshallah, I will be, first of all, shout out to my cousin. I see you, Jonathan. I am shooting, inshallah, I will be shooting my short film this summer. It's called Amethyst, and it is about a woman who can see souls. So that should be fun. Also, I have a series that I wrote a pilot for called Sincerely Nisa, and I do want to finish. I want to really knock out, at least writing episode 2 and 3. I would love to like get it on a platform like Hulu, but at the same time, independent filmmaker, we may just have to film it ourselves.
Tell us a little bit about the story before we wrap up.
So Side is about a young black. Well, she's not young. She's, I guess, I don't know. Is 40 middle age? I don't know.
No.
She's in her 30s, right? And so she has an anonymous Twitter account called Sincerely Nisa that she runs that ends up going viral. And so now she has to battle with her real life and in this online persona that she kind of lives vicariously through, and at some point those two lives do clash. So yeah, I was thinking about like trying to get into different programs and all that, and I've applied before. I will say I was in Impact's inaugural television writers. Lord have mercy, I do speak English, I promise I do.
I remember you were picked. I remember that.
And so that was dope, and that would really help me in terms of crafting it. But now just really looking forward to, like, you know, even if I do it as a small web series, but I would love to get it on like a Hulu or something like that. I feel like right now Hulu, or even maybe a Tubi, because listen, Tubi's popping. I ain't mad at it.
Yep.
But then not only that, but just being more intentional with my content creation online. And so, you know, Malikah Creates is where I use probably for more professional stuff, but I have another account called Malikah A, which is more like home lifestyle stuff. Just me. Originally it was another site for me to just cut up, but now it's starting to turn into something. Sit down, Cars. Let me know.
Auditions for your
Listen. First of all, I need to know what goes on, what's going on with the couple, because I haven't. You know what? I'll send you guys an inbox because I need to know what's going on. Y'all been talking forever. When's the nikah? Yeah, so working on really using my other page as a way of just kind of having fun and taking the I gotta work out of it a little bit. So yeah, I've been doing some things on there. So that's Malikah A. I'll put it in the comments.
Yeah. And your website page, because people need to know where to watch your stuff. Tell them your website and your production company, Ruby Janetta. This is something that, you know, we as a community need to give support, as well as spread the word, because we all know the algorithm doesn't always work in our favor. So rubyjanetta.com, right?
Yeah.
Or am I?
Yeah, you're right. Well, yeah, Ruby Janetta, I'll go to because I'm figuring out websites now because it's just too much to maintain myself. But yeah, so Ruby Janetta is my production company. It is named after both my maternal, go sit over there, both my maternal and paternal grandmothers. Right. And so that is what, yes, I mean. And so, yeah, currently I am going to, like I said, under that umbrella, Balelani Experience falls under there. And then I have a podcast that I got to get back on called The Creative Snug that I need to bring back. So one of the things that I really, for me, focusing on 2024 was really getting back into the creative side, for like, just do it. I have all these ideas for stuff, but then the energy that I give towards other people, right, and make it seem like, oh, I'm just too tired. No, you're not. You're just using those other people as, you know, it's a fear tactic because you're too scared to do your own work. So 2024, we're pushing straight past that. So inshallah, I'll be revamping the Creative Snug as well, which was a space for creative stuff. Figure it out, right? Because we all don't know what we're doing around these parts. I mean, we know what we're doing, but at the same time, I don't know what I'm doing.
What? And so picking it up as you go along, and there's nothing wrong with that, because we're not perfect.
Yeah, it's
life. Not perfect. We're human.
Take it one day at a time. None of us have ever done this before.
Right.
By the time we figure it out, we're not coming back for a redo. So.
And listen, you know, I hate to say this, but you know, cis hetero white men get to get out there and make mistakes, and like nobody cares. But you know, as a Black woman, you make one mistake and everybody's like all in uproar. So you know, we're about to shed all of that. I'm all about decolonizing the way we do things, because you know, looking at things through a Black Muslim woman's perspective, we're about to shift the narrative.
Right. Game of Thrones. When you said that, I just thought of Game of Thrones. For people who don't know, the director of Game of Thrones got the position because he knew somebody and wanted to take a stab at it, so they just gave it to them.
Crazy.
So as much as people loved it, people who read the book were angry because they were like, this is not what happens. Granted, I didn't read the book, and I didn't get past maybe episode 2 or 3 because the incest was
Girl,
one,
I
and then
watch that
the
stuff from
pushing.
episode 1.
They pushed a kid out of a window. I said,
Yeah,
this is not for me. And
sorry.
so everyone's like, you just got to keep watching.
No, ma'am.
I can't. So shout out to everybody who watched Game of Thrones. I couldn't get past that.
The sit down parts, I'm with you. I couldn't even get past the first episode, man. I'm just like, this ain't for me. But like, to your point, that's just one example of an opportunity that was given to somebody who didn't know what they were doing.
Didn't know what they were doing.
So many people who could have done it, you know, and then like in the space of business, in the space of academia, in any industry, this is what happens. So like I said, and like somebody else said in the chat, thank you so much for saying that we're paving the road. So inshallah, we look forward to what you got coming, Malikah. And the websites were in the chat. If you missed it, MalikahAShabazz.com, and you can see her film at BMGFlyfest.vhx.tv. I put that in the chat as well. And that's where our film festival is. And it houses so many films that were chosen over the course of, 3 years? And some of them are really like groundbreaking, including one of my favorites, the first musical about a Black Muslim woman that I've ever seen. So go to the website and check it out. And then inshallah, we'll be back here next Friday with another Friday feature. Malikah was just one of the members of BMGFly's board that agreed to come online to tell you more about us. Next week, we're going to have another board member, inshallah, and talk more about what they are doing in their industry. So thank you so much, Malikah, for joining me. This was fun because I got to see you and hang out. I missed that.
I know. And thank you. And shout out to you, Nia. Like, we need to make sure we give Nia her flowers. Check her resume. Check her IMDb. Listen, someone on this live is an award-winning filmmaker, and it's not me.
Come on now.
So no, just really kudos to you for doing this, for this initiative, for taking up the initiative to creating spaces for Black Muslim, not only filmmakers, but just creatives in general, to have a space where our work can be seen and we can get our flowers, you know? So shout out to you. Make sure y'all go and follow Nia, watch her discography of work, because Nia got films out here. Nia, what was the East of La Brea? Nia was a writer on that, so it's somewhere online somewhere. Go watch it.
You can go watch that on my YouTube channel, actually. And you know, not to toot my own horn, but I was one of the many women in that room to help create that series, and we won an award. Yeah, and that's something that people like to gloss over. We won awards, you know, so alhamdulillah, like you said. And I'm not saying it just for me. I'm saying it for all the women in the room, including Marguerite Aziza Hill. She was just amazing. And she's also one of our board members. So inshallah, you might get to meet her next week. Inshallah. All right. I know this has been fun. Inshallah, we'll see you all again next week. And I appreciate y'all for staying and watching. And if you didn't get the video at the beginning, watch the replay, inshallah, and just give us some comments. Let us know what you want to see coming from this channel coming up soon. And have a blessed Friday, everybody. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.